We are back with another video today. Today's video will be on Machina Rune, which is a new archetype added in based around Tetra and her effect and her Azure Blast. If you've tried playing this deck before, you will just cut to the chase right now. It's really not a good deck. I mean, there's a reason why Rune has like 0 representation in tournaments right now. It's just not good, but I mean, I do like the Machina theming of cards in general, so I wanted to give this deck a try. Plus, I am usually a bit of a fan of like the less conventional, less mainstream decks, so this is one that caught my interest, so we are playing it. This list is not mine. This is the list made by a Japanese pro player and someone who plays a lot of Rune, which is Parachan. But yeah, I'm just using his list as is because frankly, I'm not sure how much adjusting deck building can actually help this deck because it's not doing that good. And maybe in the future when after the new expansion hype dies down and I have less new decks I want to try, I'll just go ahead and come back to this and try to experiment a bit more. But for now, I will just be grabbing this deck and we will be trying to play some games and seeing how this deck works. I mean, we know it's bad, but we're gonna see how bad it is and how it plays. So we're gonna go ahead and try that out in the ladder. So let's jump into some games. So for our first game, we are up against Haven and we are going second here. For the mulligan, we just hard mulligan for Ginger. If we do have Ginger like here, we want to keep a card draw so we can try to find Tetra. And also, especially Machina cards that draw cards will be very nice for you to discount Ginger and get the enough Machina cards in your hand for Tetra to do things. So here we have nothing to do on turn 1, so we're gonna go ahead and pass. Meanwhile, they played Garuda, so this is definitely Amulet, and there's the Sanctum of Wings. An aggressive Sanctum of Wings usage like this probably implies that this will be the 5-cost reliant version, which is probably the much more common version compared to any other versions. There's a Desert Wonder from them, so I guess that's their Natura package for getting Amulets destroyed fast. We played the Pure-Hearted Robot, betting that my opponent wouldn't be able to clear it, and lucky for me they couldn't clear it, so we go ahead and use it, go ahead and heal it to draw a card, and then we pop the Arts of Trust now. We don't really have anything else to play this turn. We don't really want to play the Rocket Broom, right? So we might as well pop the Arts of Trust now. They don't have that many followers that we really need Arts of Trust to clear board anyway, so that should be fine. And then we have a Connected Hearts here, which is great on turn going second here. Give us the ability to evolve one of our Assembly Droids and recover a play point. And then since we picked up the Magitech Mystic here, we're gonna go ahead and play her now. A, because she's not that useful later on for trying to activate Tetra's effect, and B, because she gives us a damage shield which might come in handy at some point. They don't really run cards like Twofold Grace, so we don't have to worry about this shield getting pinged off at some point unless they play Lena, which I'm not sure how common it is to run Lena in these kinds of decks, so we shall see. Though probably not. So we do go ahead and summon out the Divine Wolves here and trade into our board. That's fine. Our main goal is just to try to set up Tetra. So we mill the Izunia's Renovation or whatever the hell the card is called. So we're just gonna go ahead and play our cards here. Use the Tech Wizard to discount Enhance 5. This deck is like in a state where this Enhance 5 is actually worth playing just because you really don't have better things to do. So yeah, hopefully they give this deck a little more steam to work with. This should probably be like a leader effect or something instead of an Enhance 5 effect. Maybe something like that. Then they go ahead and play out a bunch of amulets here. Then they pick out damage shield off, so we're gonna start taking damage. So we pick up the Tetra here, so we're definitely just gonna use that. And now we have 2 Gingers in hand as well, so what we can do is just use the Tetra to clone the Ginger. I mean, use the Ginger to clone the Tetra, sorry. And you go ahead and play the Tech Wizard here, recover the play points. Make sure to count that you have enough play points to play everything you need. So in this turn, you need to count what you want to do. In this turn, I want to use Ginger and I want to use Tetra. And I want to pick up the Delta Cannon because this deck has 2 major ways of achieving lethal. It has 3 Delta Cannons, or you have 2 Delta Cannons with Amaryllis. Since I don't see Amaryllis in my hand, and I see ways to get more Delta Cannons, I can just go for 3 Delta Cannons here. So we're gonna go ahead and clone the Tetra here, and then just go ahead and play enough Machina cards so that we can pick up the Delta Cannon. And then we hold off the rest to use with Tetra next turn to make sure we can get enough Delta Cannons to play. So there's the Adamantium Bird from them and the Selena as well. They don't have more evil points than us, so they can't refund that. Thankfully, you definitely want to save your evil points as much as possible in this deck because you really need them for your win condition cards, so try not to use them as much as you can. Opponents go ahead and summon another set of Adamantium Birds, so there's a pretty big board we have to answer here. Take a ton of damage here, we're probably dead next turn, so we have to answer this board. Thankfully, we have a decent amount of clears in our hand. So we do math. So we want to play 3 Aether Blasts, which means that we need 6 PP. We need to save 6 PP for Aether Blast, and then we can summon 2 Tetras. Each Tetra this is how I usually do it. First I count how many Aether Blasts I need. In this case I need 6, right? Next I count how many PP my Tetras are worth. So this Tetra is going to be worth -1 PP because of her leader effect. I mean because of her effect to recover 2 play points. And then this second Tetra that we're gonna get off the Ginger is gonna be worth net 0 play points because we spend 2 play points to get the Tetra and then she refunds it with her effect. So we have 1 play point to work with to play cards that aren't Delta, the Aether Blast. In order to get enough Aether Blast, this Aether Blast needs to be our 4th Machina card played after playing our first Tetra. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, so we should have enough to PP to get lethal here, so that's what we just do. We even have enough PP to use Assembly Droid here to clear a follower as well. So we're gonna go ahead and clone the Tetra here. We'll go ahead and play the Tetra. And we have our evil point available as well, so we can use this Ginger to clear as well, which honestly I probably should have done from the beginning. But I don't think it matters. So we also have enough spells so we can discount the Rosy Card Magician, which we can use to get a Banish out. So we go ahead and evolve the Ginger here. We're gonna use the Ginger to clear a follower. And we use the Rocket Broom Witch here. And now we still have 7 PP, so we're gonna go ahead and play 1 more card. And then we have 6 PP now, so we can just play the Aether Blast. So we go ahead and play an Aether Blast here. We are guaranteed 24. We have 24 damage here, so even that ward didn't really matter. So that's the end of this game. Let's move on to the next game. So for our next game, we are going first against a Forest here. Forest is probably Ladica. There are a few variants of Ladica, but it's gonna be Ladica. This is a pretty good hand. We can just keep this whole hand. I guess I tossed the Technoloid, but it's not bad to keep this hand either. I guess since I don't expect him to play many followers, since it's mostly a combo that I decided not to keep the Technoloid. Go ahead and play the Ruins of Iolan here. We do pick up the Tetra, so our main key cards of Ginger and Tetra are already assembled, so that's great for us. Again, I don't really think they have, unless they commit a lot, they don't really have good ways to clear this Pure-Hearted Robot, so I'm gonna go ahead and play it out now so I can use it to heal next turn and draw a card. There's the Desert Wanderer here. It's looking very much the same to the previous game, apparently. So go ahead and pick up the draw here. Since we pick up the Rocket Broom, which we're gonna go ahead and use that to clear this Desert Wanderer instead. We can keep our Pure-Hearted Robot on board here. We can use it to draw another card. Now, it's actually probably worth playing 1 more recovery there, since we have a decent amount of draw in our hand, and we need to discount with Ginger as well. But Ginger is pretty well on her way to becoming 0, so that's not that important. So pick up another Pure-Hearted Robot here, which I'm apparently going to fuse. I guess I wanted to keep the 1-cost cards for Tetra. We already mainly have our key pieces assembled anyway, plus if we play the other Pure-Hearted Robot, we're probably going to overdraw since we have we're going to go ahead and not play the Pure-Hearted Robot and get rid of it. Keep the recoveries for using with Tetra to combo at some point later on. So here we can't really go Tetra and Ginger. Well, we can go Tetra and Ginger, but our main lethal combos are on turn 7 anyway, so there's no reason to rush it. We're gonna go ahead and use the Tech Wizard to just set up for an easier turn next turn. Discount our cards in hand, and we go ahead and hit them in the face. Set up the Ginger as well, so next time we can play Tetra and then copy the Tetra. There's the Loving Embrace that they fused in. I'm gonna go ahead and play that so they do have some 0-cost nature and great trees in hand now. Not really sure why they played the Frost one. Oh, I think they played the trade so they can clear it. There is an option for them to just bot lock me here, but I guess they decided not to take it. I mean, they would have taken a ton of damage and probably died even if they did that, right? So I guess it makes sense. So here is the Tetra, and then we're gonna go ahead and play cards. In this case, we don't need to evolve Tetra manually, but in some cases you might need to evolve Tetra manually, so just watch out for that. So we go ahead and set up the Rocket Room Witch here, and then we copy the Tetra with one Azure Blast in hand. Once again, we don't see Amulet in hand, so we are looking for a 3 Azure Blast turn, so it works the same way for the math. Tetra is worth -1 play points here. The second Tetra will be worth 0 play points. And then each Azure Blast is 6 play points. So we will have 2 play points to work with to get enough Machina cards played with a 0-cost assembly draw in hand, and the Tetra's giving us recovery. We should be fine. We can even use Techno Lord to help clear this Ladica while we try to get our lethal. It's also worth noting here that we can actually just use air as well to get another Tetra out, and this can help us clear this Ladica. But I guess I didn't really need to do it this time, so I didn't bother. Getting Tetra out of air is also a net 0 play points because she's 2 PP. So yeah, you can just play her as like a kind of free action when you're going for Tetra lethals. If you need to get 3 Delta Cannons in one turn, you can do it that way. In this case, our followers, we're going to pick up our Azure Blast that we need here. We can use one. Since we've keep note that one Tetra gives you the Azure Blast, you don't really need her anymore. So here we got the Tetra Blast out of our Tetra, so we can go ahead and trade it and then just play the Azure Blast for lethal. And that's it for this game. Let's move on to one more game. So for this next game, we are going second against Sword. So Sword can be Natura or Rarely, I think. There is technically the option of Evo, but I don't really think people are playing it. But here we're gonna go ahead and keep the Ginger and try to look for Tetra with the rest of our cards. We got the Rosy Card Magician here, which is okay early on, right? We can use it to and start spell boosting it early so we can discount it. And here we have nothing to do this turn, so we have to pass. That's Mikhail from them, so I guess this is probably Rarely. We have to play the Magitech Mystic here. Pretty nasty hand here, 2 Ginger, 2 Rosy Card Magicians, but we go ahead and play the Magitech Mystic here to try and protect the Mikhail from hitting our face, and thankfully it does work and we are able to save our health, I guess. So I was going to play Connected Heart. Connected Hearts is best save for second. When you're going second, it's best save for turn 4 anyway, so we're going to go ahead and play the Pure Hearted Robot here and use the recovery to draw a card. Opponent is going to clear our Pure Hearted Robot here, I guess, so we can't draw any cards. And plays 2 Fold Grace as well, which is fine. So we go ahead and fuse here. Technology is a bit more useful for helping us answer Sword's board, so we take that over the recovery. And we go ahead and play the... Playing this Pure Hearted Robot here is maybe a bit sus, I think, but if you look at my hand, I actually don't have enough Machina cards in hand to play Techno Lord for Accelerate because 3 Gingers, 2 Rosy Card Magicians. Yeah, a bit of a unfortunate hand here, but it should be fine. Opponent whips out the Albedo here, which is a pretty weak turn from them, honestly. I mean, like, in theory, it's a lot of like things we have to deal with, but also they're rarely still at 8, so it's a slow game for them, which is good for us. So we unfortunately don't have leeway to play Techno Lord here, so we're gonna go ahead and use the tech. I mean, we don't have leeway for the Tech Wizard, nor do we have anything to discount the Tech Wizard in the first place, so we're gonna go ahead and set up the Ginger here, after using Techno Lord to clear their board. Also picked up the Connecting Heart here, so hopefully we can pick up Tetra at some point. Go ahead and fuse. I feel like fusing the Tech Wizard probably would have been better there than the recovery. The recovery is a bit more useful at this point in the game. So there's their Monica, as well as the Dashing Duelist from them. And Elena as well. So we do know that they have Erica in hand. They are rally 14, so the Erica will be active next turn fully as well. So we do lucky, very luckily we top deck Tetra here, which will allow us to look for a lethal next turn. So we try to survive this turn. We go ahead and use the Techno Lord to clear the hit duelist here. My plan is to use Ginger and Scorching Words the Ginger, so that's why we're doing it this way. So we pick up the Tetra copy as well to make sure you need to clear the Tetra. We still have ways to get her next turn. Then we use the Ginger. Use the Court Magician to banish the Monica to make sure they don't get the extra buff out of it. Also, worth noting here, I ran out of time so I didn't get to play what I wanted, but the correct way to do this would have been to play another Rosy Court Magician to banish Amaterasu as well, because Erica plus Twin Blader is 20 damage and we are not even at full. So we need to heal to full and set up wards in order to survive that combo. So go ahead and play the Scorching Curse here. I should have played the Court Magician here, but I ran out of time before I realized that it was definitely worth playing. So yeah, there's the Mikhail here. If they have Erica here as well. So if they have Twin Blader, we are actually just dead. So hopefully they don't have it. So there's the Erica. And they go ahead and use Erica's Slide as well. And then they fuse the Untold Kick, which is probably them looking for the well, I thought it was them looking for Twin Blader, but for some reason they didn't play the kick first, and then go ahead and play the Lloyd here. So I guess they've given up on trying to get lethal. They do trade off here, put out the Killer Instincts, and then they trade the Erica off into the Tetra to I guess make sure they don't die. They leave the Ginger on board here though, it's fine. So we're gonna go ahead and use the Rosy Court Magician to get our secret skill, get their secret skill out of the way. We can go Tetra, Ginger, copy, and then play another Tetra here. As you can see, we are actually quite low on actually playable Machina cards though, because Ruins of Island need board space. Thankfully, since they left our Ginger alive here, we can just evolve Ginger for 5 damage, meaning we only actually need 2 Tetra's cannons, because Tetra's cannons each deal 8 damage. So we're gonna go ahead and work on that. So we'll go ahead and play the Tetra here. Then use the Scorching Curse. Go ahead and copy the Tetra. And then the leeway for getting to 4 cannons in one turn is definitely much easier than getting to 2, so we can definitely reach there quite easily. There's our Ruins of Island here. Go ahead and play the second Ruins of... well, we don't really need to, so that's the Azure Cannon. And I don't really know what the order I'm playing cards here is, but oh well. So that's the Azure Blast as well. We go ahead and evolve Ginger to finish them off. Unfortunately, I didn't draw Amaryllis in any of these games, but she does help. So yeah, that's it for this game. So with the games out of the way now, let's talk about some of the deck's strengths and weaknesses. The strength is that it's an effect damage OTK, I guess, so it doesn't get blocked by wards very well, and you have a decent amount of ways to clear opponent's board while going phase, and that's where the strengths end. There's a lot of weaknesses to this deck. Number one, it's very heavily reliant on Ginger. You can win games without Ginger, but it's very difficult. So, and there's no way to tutor Ginger or anything in this deck. You literally just have to naturally draw Ginger. Next problem with this deck is that you also have to find Tetra. You can see we run a lot of Machina cards here. It's very hard to not run these because this deck, your lethal is basically on turn 7 or later. It's nigh impossible to kill on turn 6, which is really bad in this meta now because there is decks like Wrath and Evil Blood which kill you on turn 6. So you, without ways to like stop that from happening, you will not be able to reach turn 7. So that's why we run cards like Magitech Mystic. Even though this card is really bad for like diluting the pool, the damage shield is pretty important, so we have to run this. The rest of the cards, Tech Wizard is maybe a bit iffy, but the rest of the Machina cards are fairly useful, so we do want to run those. And then Rosy Court Magician also, it's a bit annoying and bricky, but quite necessary for dealing with things like Leon and Elfie. If you don't have this, you literally just cannot stop Leon and Elfie unless you use Tetra to trade, I guess, which maybe works. But definitely very difficult to play with that Rosy Court Magician. Rosy Court Magician is also very important for survival because, as you can see from this deck, your early game is quite weak. You kind of sit there and take a lot of damage. So the Rosy Court Magician is pretty important for the survival aspect as well. And then yeah, that's the list. I really hope they buff this list with some with something. I hope they buff this archetype or something because I do really enjoy the concept of the archetype and I think it's pretty fun to play. it's just horribly inconsistent, and the survivability of this deck is really bad. But if they buff it in some ways, hopefully it'll become playable. I really do like this deck and I want to play it more, but I lost like 15,000 rank points or something playing this deck. So yeah, that's it for this video, and I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.